ride a bike?
Yeah, I know how to ride a bike.
Okay.
Let's go, let's go. Oh, steady.
Okay. Oh, hey, okay, slow me down. Right. Let's go. Break right here. Break right here. Break.
Indeed, we are back. Let me know if you can hear me. I want to make sure this is all good to go. I want to make sure that I'm in the clear. For all those who are watching the playback, I really appreciate it if you can give me the feedback that you can hear me, because we are just good. Okay, we're sounding good. So I know there aren't going to be a lot of people here because I'm not going to blame the auto ban or whatever, or the shadow ban, but nonetheless, I've been abandoning, I shouldn't say abandoned, but I've been definitely out of sight for good. So first of all, I want to say thank you all for the individuals who have been on this channel for over a couple of years. And as you can see, this is what we're going to review today. This is what we're going to do with the playback reaction. And as far as that's concerned, let me go on ahead and get everything situated in the background right quick. Alright, so let's see if this works. I don't want to have the desktop duplication. Alright, so that should work there. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, cool. Alright, we're gonna get this showing the road right quick. Hold on just a second. First of all, let's start it from the beginning. Let's unmute that. Let's see if that works. Dang it. Does not work on my end. Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to. Alright. Alright, so we're just gonna have to do it like this. Take this off. And then, welcome to, this isn't exactly news at night, but nonetheless, I'm back. Well, we'll see how long I'll be back for. And just to give all of you a short preview, or just sort of a reason why I'm doing this video, is because, as you all know, for the past few years, I've been overseas, specifically in Japan. And overall, it is a commendable country. I definitely recommend men of all races, all people of all races, to visit the country. And since my channel includes, or specifically, at least for now, targets brothas, African American men, I would definitely say visit the country. Now, as far as living there, that might be a different story depending on where you are, what you do, where you live, etc. So we're going to go, however, I should say, stuff like this is probably the reason why, while I did enjoy the country, I could have enjoyed it a lot more. Now, before I get into the topic, I'm definitely, yeah, exactly, I avoid Pookies wherever I go. And that's the thing. And hold on. Yeah, hopefully, is that the Cashapp? Somebody might hit the Cashapp right quick. Hold on. Oh, somebody hit the Cashapp. Hit the Cashapp. Just like the Pro-Wax said. So, shout out to, I'm not going to say your real name, but shout out to you for $5. We need you to bring much needed sysbm. Hey, look, I'm going to work on the sysbm content between, no offense to Matt Bus Driver X, but yeah, you show the pictures, you show the work, but now we have to go into details on sysbm content, because especially right now, we have the other side of the spectrum being passport bros. And this isn't to make a passport bros versus sysbm beat by any means. Trust me, we're more allies than we may think. But scenarios like this does not help us in any case. Now, I'll go into the individual named Cenat and Fanum. I don't know much about Fanum, but Cenat, he is actually a very big Twitch streamer. He has, hell, on YouTube, he has 3.9 million, I believe, or 1.9 million. Is it 1.9? Anyway, he has at least a few million subs on YouTube. So I gotta give props to where props is due. And obviously, a lot of what he does, besides streaming, is a lot of these joking videos, which, okay, cool. I get it. You want to joke around. You want to be yourself. You want to act a fool, as they say in the community. But in certain instances, it's not warranted. Or maybe in certain instances, you should proceed with caution. And this is going to be one of those cautionary videos I do in order to show individuals why we, especially as brothers, and especially in times like these, need to move different. Now, I'm not saying move with a stick up you know what. I'm not saying do all that. I'm not saying, yeah. But what I am saying is this. First of all, I'm not sure if Cashapp isn't, oh man, is Cashapp enabled? If it isn't, anyway, or super chats. Anyway, doesn't matter. We got the people here. Let's move. Let's rock and roll.
Is it lit today? What's going on? What's the vibes?
Come on, man. Can we, first of all, skip with the Ebonics? Yes, I'm going to go there. I'm going to be that guy that says, why do we have to have, first of all, I get it, dreads, the urban, all right, fine. You want to do that? I'm going to be the first one that says, do that in the community. Do that in the community. If you want to do all that, you want to be extra, do that in the community. And second, I mean, we already have a bad reputation in certain countries. I'm not saying Japan is the worst, but with individuals doing stunts like this, it isn't helping any of us whatsoever. But let's continue.
What y'all doing? Okay.
Yeah, we need to go. Well,
We gotta get lit.
All right. So there's nothing wrong with getting lit. Trust me. I might get lit later on tonight. Well, where all of you are right now, it's still evening. So look, there's nothing wrong with partying. There's nothing wrong with getting down. Especially when you have women right beside you. However, if you look closely to these lovely ladies, if you want to tell me comparisons between these and traditional Japanese women, what do you see when it comes to these particular women? You see, we have how many people watching right now? 11. All right, so yeah, 11. I get it. It's been years. Not a lot of people are going to know that I'm here. So shout out to those who are on the live stream. Shout out to the replay gang. But what we notice here is that let's just say the style of these individuals is not the traditional style of what you expect from Japanese or even just women in general who live in Japan. Even in a metropolitan area like Tokyo, a lot of Japanese women tend to dress in a very, how should I say this, non-revealing fashion. Hell, you can even go to parts of Japan like the beach, or in certain instances where the weather is over 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 90 even, and Japanese women will still be bundled with 6 articles of clothing. Now, in this instance, yeah, they're going clubbing. Okay, I get it. They might dress differently to 4 bundles of clothing, but in this case, you can tell right here that these are not traditional Japanese women. These are the kind of Japanese women that, let's just be honest, most Japanese guys aren't checking out. And as you will continue to watch, hell, these are probably not the kind of Japanese women that other men outside community-minded men check out. First of all, the long fingernails right there should give you the indication, but we'll continue.
Yeah. So I'm saying, you look amazing. You guys look amazing. Wow. Wow. Oh.
All right, you said amazing once. Let's not simp. Let's not simp too much. And that's another thing that us brothers need to stop doing. We need to stop boosting the heads of a lot of these basic females.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Nice.
And like the Geo Scholar says, Japanese culture tends to value modesty. Let me go ahead and see the people in here. Shout out to Bishop, John Thomas, Club Fortune, Baki, Onigiri. Onigiri, that's kind of dish. Mulatto Vanguard, Atonement, Ike. Yep, you got the mod. You're the lone mod right now. So if we have any pro acts, alt riders, Karens, Daggles, whoever, Passport Pookies, who I'm about to roast, if they want to get too off kilter, you know what to do with them. And as a matter of fact, Ike, I'm going to make sure you're not alone because we got Marty McFly in the building, another man who is traveling. I'm not going to even say call him a passport bro because right now we got a little issue with the passport bros, which we're going to cook in this video. But in the meantime, let me add you as a moderator. Yep, okay, yeah. All right, cool. So you should have that. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so you can roll down to the comments here. All right, cool.
You know, I got to the geniuses. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right. So what do we notice? What else do we notice about this woman? Besides the long nails, the tan. Now, the second woman didn't have a tan, but the first woman did. Now, a lot of people will say that, to the untrained eye, these girls have a tan. Oh my God, I love an Asian girl with a tan. Oh my goodness. Oh my gracious. They got a tan. They must love brothas. They must love brothers out there. Well, there's actually something called ganguro, which is pretty similar to the kind of appearance this woman has. Now, ganguro, G-A-N-G-U-R-O, look it up, but I'll read that. It is a fashion trend among young Japanese women that started in the mid-1990s, distinguished by a dark tan and contrasting makeup liberally applied by fashionistas. Now, this started in Shibuya Nikkei Budo, and There's a big story behind it, but in summary, Genguro is basically utilized by women who are attracted to certain kind of men. And the kind of men that they're usually attracted to, well, I can't say only, but usually brothas. Now, if you want to go down that route and act like a baby kid, like our friend is doing here right now, feel free to do that. But if you want quality women, or if you just want to have a quality reputation to leave for the people of Japan or any other country, you may want to avoid these women, at least, or at the very least, not take them seriously.
You like it?
Yeah.
You got to rate me from 1 through 10. What would you rate me right now? Like, my outfit right now.
The outfit?
Yeah.
I love your shoes. The rocks.
All right.
All right, and then that's another thing. Like, I gotta say, we can't go looking like this. Seriously.
I love your shoes. The rocks.
First of all, you can't even see the shoes, but nonetheless, the gold chain, the baggy pants, baggy suit. This was filmed at least a couple of days ago. You know, for all of you know how hot Japan gets, especially in the concrete jungle like Tokyo, it is at least, hell, even right now in the middle of the night, it's probably in the 70s, if not the 80s. But this guy insists on dressing like a bad satire of what's supposed to be a black man from the early 2000s. All this drip, all this swag, oh, okay. What's the point? What the hell's the point? Are you trying to make a bad name for us out here? Are you trying to be a clown? I get it, that's what your channel's about, but, you know, let's continue.
All right.
It's gonna be 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Damn.
And the outfit's gonna be 7 out of 10.
We saw you. You see me?
Yeah.
Oh, you were.
Okay, so this guy at least has clout to the point where he actually got some random fans saying, yo, hey, what's up, man? Hey, I saw you on such and such. So, he gets a field goal for that. I'm not giving him a point, but I'll give him a field goal.
With the Goomba.
Word? Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. Here is how influential brothers, or just Americans, but in this case, we're going to focus on the brothers. But this is how influential brothers are when it comes to just going worldwide, dealing with women, just dealing with people. Our image and reputation matter. And the fact of the matter is this. How should I say this? What we put out in the world cannot be interpreted in a satirical sense. Whatever you put out in the world can be considered literal in a lot of cases, and especially in cultures where it's very foreign. They will see anything that we do, especially as brothers, and they will consider it real life, even though we may be playing a role or playing a character. A lot of them are going to take it more serious. And in this case, especially with the last few decades of what hip-hop has done, or rap, or trap, whatever you want to call that crap, now, this isn't a joke, this isn't a game, and we are basically looked at in this image.
Can I ride the bike? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Get.
Oh, I on this too tall, bro.
It's not too tall. I'm about to. It's so confusing.
Hold on, bro. I got you. No, not in front of the house. In front of the door. Oh, yo. Yeah, not a right bike. Okay. Oh,
steady.
okay. Hey, okay, slow me down. Right. Let's go on this. Break.
All right. Yeah, all right, I get it. This is a prank video. This is a prank channel, partially. But this is what happens when you have a diet of attention, when you need attention. This is the kind of attention, however, that brothers do not need in a country like Japan. Or any country overseas. If you're going to do all this pranking stuff, if you're going to do all this crap, then SYBAH. Meaning stay your fill in the blank as home. And the B doesn't need to be black. It can be beta. It could be bitch ass home. Your busta, your Bama, whatever. And the reason why I specifically state this, and I noted this, was because he's riding a bike, which actually within Japan, in many cases, is considered a kind of vehicle. More likely equivalent to riding a scooter. So I'm not going to say what he's doing right now is illegal in a sense, because I mean a lot of Japanese people ride bikes on the sidewalk, but nonetheless, if you hit someone with it, it's like hitting someone with a motorcycle. So take that for what it's worth.
You get? Sorry. Okay, not in front of horns, bro. We're one of the big dogs. Come on, boy. Good, man. Hurry up. Yeah. This is always the first stop. From there, it's on.
All right, so I know a lot of people, and I might lose a lot of people by saying the next part, but here is where a lot of brothers screw up, especially specifically passport bros. Shout out to passport bros. You know, we just chilling. We passport bros. Ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with us getting a little, going a little clubbing, right? Okay. So why is it every single time I see a brother, a passport bro, whoever, going to a club, first of all, a lot of these brothers who say, oh, they love us here, they love us in such and such country. Now, is it the women who are of quality value that love us? Or even just women who are just normal, everyday chicks? Or is it when we go to these kind of clubs that we get the love? Because I can tell you, personally, myself, I cringe at going to these nightclubs. Particularly nightclubs that play this kind of music. And once again, it goes back to the kind of women that we're getting. Oh, you know what? Actually, I can't even play it because, you know, copyright infringement. Copyright. No. Okay, so, but maybe we can just, screw it. Hold on. All right, so it's muted. So I guess he's smart enough to mute them. Okay, so is it? Okay, so he's smart. You know, I'll give him credit. I'll give him a touchdown for this. He muted the actual music to the point where he allowed his channel to not get flagged for copyright infringement. So shout out to him. You know, he probably isn't as dumb as I thought. I didn't think so, but we're still gonna go in on him. So yeah, once again, he's looking like a swag hack, doing all this stuff. All right, yeah, he's enjoying himself. All right, yeah. Okay, cool story, bro. All right, posing with the ladies and living his life, as a lot of people say. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is the part where the cringe gets up to 9,000. All right. Let's just replay it. For all of you guys out there who have never seen an Asian female twerk, press 1 in the comment. And even they're in the after playback show. Press 1 in the comments if you've never seen an Asian female twerk. I didn't think so. I didn't think so. So, yeah, I get it. This is all part of his little shtick, his little act. But we got to do better than this. We have to do better than this. In more ways than one. And you know what? As an individual who's familiar with Tokyo, I actually know where this is. I'm not going to say where. You may catch the place in the playback or whatever. But, yeah. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not Bishop person one. Okay, thank you for your honesty. But yeah, this is not it. This is not the way. This is not the way we need to be moving. I'm hearing a lot of these guys who are against the passport bros, particularly the second passport bros, or guys who travel who are pro tricking or pro whatever. I'd rather you. I'm not even a fan of tricking personally. I'm not going to go against guys to do it. I'm pretty neutral when it comes to it personally. But I'd rather have brothers trick and just pay for it directly and then go to the hotel and do this in private than to show this for the world to see. And for Tokyo to see, for that matter, because, like, you gotta go to the club. It's clubbing time. It's clubbing time, guys. Because that's where they love us, right? Although, if you step out in the middle of the street, at best, you're invisible. At best, you get lost into the sea of people. At best. What do you guys got to say about this? Let me see the comments right now. Cringe. Yep, I agree. I super cringe. Just a man with, exactly. I'm just a man with passport, says Marty McFly. Darkman Jeff, I see you in here. Another mod. Pull up on dubs! Man, I wish I had the super chats, man. I don't know what happened, but. And Geoscholar, he's putting them some good game about Japan. I said it gets hotter in other parts of Japan. Exactly. Even hotter in Tokyo. And I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes, but. Rap music, aka Pookie Blues. He needs a light button up and some basic dress pants. More, let's say, professional and way less heat than a hoodie. Exactly. He's wearing the hoodie in the middle of the summer. You know what time it is. You know what time he's on. You know what his IQ is. Dude has a bodyguard. You don't need a bodyguard in Tokyo. It's probably his homie, honestly. Always never fails to embarrass us as American first riflemen. Exactly. Community wants all blackness represented this way. Shonsan Hama. Yeah, that's exactly what they want. And I'm just going to say the reason they want it is to prevent black men in general, or particular, from enjoying ourselves and integrating into the world international society. Because these guys like these can find themselves overseas with no problem. Just like the Sukihana broad in London. Do not be surprised if she didn't fund the trip by herself. And I wouldn't be surprised if this guy didn't fund his trip by himself. They know what he was going to do, and she was going to do. And they did it. And that just leaves a few more black eyes for the next black travelers who go overseas. What else you guys got to say about this? Flashbacks to the club video. Oh yeah, the club video I made. What club video I made a few years ago? I mean, I've made so many videos roasting nightclubs. It's not even silly. When I spent 2 months in the UK, I didn't go to any clubs. Good man. Of course, it was at the height of the. Oh yeah, so you couldn't go to any clubs. So, but props to you. All right, so Marty W in the house. I see you. I had a chick I met with on Tinder in Mexico City try to hit me with I need money to move out. My landlords wouldn't take my condo back. Yeah, that good old scam. Shout out to the scamsters. So let's see. Yeah. Oh yeah. And GeoScholar, you're not the only one who's been told you act white, talk like, whatever. So let me see. Pookie, Rude Boy Crap. Exactly. And Mulatto Vanguard, thank you. He looks like a minstrel show. And Mulatto Vanguard, once again, yeah, you're right about the Arab men in Dubai, especially as of recent. And the funny thing is the community hates when guys get with Asian chicks like this. They come out like, Asian chicks like this, or I'm just going to say this, they're basic at best. These are the kind of ones that Asian men do not check, at least not for serious engagements like a girlfriend or a wife or fiance. No, they're not. And hell, even a lot of white guys just passing them around. So, and speaking of which, you got one of these PUA guys who is doing a Passport Bro show. Not Passport Bros, but Passport Bro show. And no offense against him, but he's saying, he's one of these PUA guys that are like, we are going to teach you on how to be a passport bro, and just to prove that white guys aren't the only guys who get any, we're gonna have passport bro speakers of all races. But do not be surprised that for the black speaker, he's gonna be one, more like this guy, and two, trying to teach brothas on how to get females, basic broads like this, with that passport Pookie swag. Because apparently, even he and his homeboy said, in a place like Japan, there's a niche for everyone. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, at least in Tokyo, the niche when it comes to brothers, for the most part, that you're going to be most successful with, is this kind of niche. Let's continue.
Oh, better right there. Got it! Better!
All right, yep, once again, making himself and all of us look like fools, because especially in places like Japan, you don't yell like this. You don't scream like this. You don't act like a minstrel like this. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I might be a tightwad. Tell me if I'm a tightwad in the comment section if I am. Maybe I need to loosen up. Maybe I need to start going clubbing like everybody else. Like every other non-NPC baby kid out there. Maybe I'm doing a disservice to the community and to the brothers image. But this is not the way, especially in a place like Japan where you've seen everybody else here, and especially towards the left, minding their own business, heading their own way. But this guy, he just has to stand out. Well, there's a saying in Japan about standing out, and that the nail that stands out eventually gets hammered. Take that for what it's worth. Alright, yep. Pookie powers. This is like the freaking Faltron of Pookieism. The Faltron of Pookies merging in. It's like Pookie or Ray Dar. Pookie Dar, just they can find each other easily. And where there's more than three, I will not be. I won't. Forget about it. I'm not doing that. I'm not succumbing to the swag. I'm not succumbing to the yo-yo whoopity whoop. I'm not succumbing to all that goofiness. Look, passport bros can have this. They can have this swag. They can have this drip. They can have that music video where J. Cole said like 5 sentences throughout the entire freaking video, and you got the other guy who's like repeating 1 sentence. We don't 2 sentences. Sorry, to be fair, 2 sentences. We passport bro. I mean, dude. That's the anthem, though. That's gonna be the anthem of these passport bros. And you know, J. Cole, you can do worse than J. Cole when it comes to the brothers image. I'm not gonna even hate on him as a performer, as a singer, but still. Right? Yeah, Radar. 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 Yeah. He puts the Ray in Radar. Free the Pookie and Radar. There you go. Pookie and Radar. This is what happens. It's like the other kind of Dar, you know, the Dar, you know, those kind of people that you can't talk about these days. You can't even say the G word without offending people. That's fine. But yeah, just like them, they have Pookie Radar. You got the grill. He's got the grill. He's got the grin. He's got all this on a goofy. Yep.
What up? Let's keep moving this way. We gotta get.
And I know exactly where that is, by the way. If you want to know, that is taking place in Shibuya, Japan, which is basically the Times Square of Japan. So if there's going to be any place where you're going to find people 24 hours a day, it's here. So he knew what he was doing when filming in Shibuya. And shout out to Ray Hama, you're back. Shout out to all the other individuals. See, yeah, Shonen Hama says, see, he's yelling like it's Atlanta and everyone's just yelling. He doesn't realize that everyone else is more relaxed and see. And I'm glad you brought that up because in Japan, it is essential that you read the room. And there's actually a saying of reading the room called tatemae, where, well, I guess tatemae is more of the face kind of thing. It has something to do with it, but the more important thing is that reading the room is essential to survive in Japanese culture. And a lot of that is just noting your environment, noting your surroundings, know how other people are, how the people are acting, how the people are talking, how the people are speaking, or if they're speaking at all, or being silent, because you will go on trains in Japan where the entire place, the entire train is silent. But this guy, I mean, you tell him to read the room. I mean, you tell him to read, other than text message. But let's not go there. Or shall we?
How's we gonna do? We gonna do the lap up method, alright? Y'all wanna lap up each other? A lap up on me? A lap up on me? Hell yeah. Nigga.
Alright.
You can.
Okay, somebody just donated. I'm not sure if somebody just donated or somebody subscribed, but shout out to the individual who just did. So, other than that, let me just see if this works. Okay. Alright, well, we'll catch that in the back end. And I don't know how I didn't get the super chats, but shout out to you guys here. Anyway, this is my first one. I'm not expecting too much, but just the audience returning. So I appreciate all you who are here. Hit the Cashapp if you really want to donate, or it was at the Cashapp and the PayPal. So shout out to you guys.
I'm rock. Oh. Finally read his grills, bro.
Address? One address?
六本木交差点の方行ってもらって、テレサ通りの方向かってください。
Yeah, other than the buying sex messages, can he read anything? Good question. Good question.
これ U ターンしてもらってテレサ通りの方向かってください。
人多すぎて無理だって言ってる。
なんで？
人多すぎる。警察捕まるって。
Oh, I love Japan.
I bet you do.
So how do you say in Japanese? How do you say I love you, Papi? Say it one more time.
大好き。
It's not completely wrong. I mean, there's a...
Yeah.
How you say I love you, mommy?
大好きママ。
大好きマ
But
マ。
like if you want
Don't say mama. Like,
Don't say mama!
お母さん。
Oh God.
in Japan, you say mama is like okasa is like mother. So
In a formal way, yeah.
So how you say for like you say like mommy like the younger
Mama.
mama.
Yeah, we just say
Did
mama.
you say mama?
Yeah, just mama.
Mami-chan, mami-chan,
Okay.
mami-chan,
Mommy-chan.
Do you
mami-chan.
say that? Because I don't say that.
I say that. Like mami-chan.
Really?
Yeah, mami-chan.
It's good. Bro, it's literally the morning over there right now.
Yo, what the?
Bro, it's not even 1 o'clock yet.
Yo, what the y'all do? Y'all
What
gotta
y'all do?
Y'all gotta put it. Yes, sir.
Yes,
God
sir.
did.
God did.
All I know is konnichiwa. Arigato giritu.
Arigato.
Tondanai. Naminato.
All right.
Yo, bro.
Nani? I know that.
Bro, I know when I hit that bed, bro.
I be knowing.
Bro, I know.
Yabai.
Oh my god.
Yeah, bye. But I know when I hit that bed game. Yo, oh my God. What y'all did today?
Yo, we was shopping, bro.
All right. Notice how you mentioned bed game, which, yeah, okay. We all want to lay beautiful women. I get it. But in this case, you're talking about two individuals, two of the lovely ladies. Do you think this is the first time they've been with a brother? I mean, just take a guess. You can guess in the comment section, guess wherever. But do you think that they're really going to be impressed with This guy and even the other guy who looks like his bodyguard and who looks like he actually knows what a gym looks like, at least. But still, you think these women haven't had experience prior to tonight? Hell, rumors say that these two were actually bought and paid for as, just for company. I'll just leave it at that.
Shopping a lot? Ash. I'm just going crazy. Why we not moving?
아침 바라오거나.
I ain't gonna lie, 코로나가 막인, bro. No cap, yo.
Wait, how was the Disneyland? Okay.
You said what?
How was the Disneyland?
Disneyland was amazing.
Did you get to do roller coasters?
Not really, cause we got how many rides we got on? But we got like 0 rides.
Why?
Cause it was bad people. The line was crazy.
The driver
Since
said
I'm watching-
he wanna drive. He don't want to.
All right, so there's sort of pause here. Let's skip this part. All right.
That's like a deli? It's like a corner store?
Yeah.
Yo, Fanum.
Yeah.
Good eats over here, gang.
We out.
Hey, sorry. Make sure the driver knows. Driver, make sure he knows. I ain't gonna lie, Jake, you ratted. You a snitch. It's like every day I got a new hater. Suck my horse. No, my horse.
Oh, the horse. Horse, come now. The horse. Horse need to come now.
I got no words. What?
Okay, man. Make sure y'all.
All right. I thought this guy had game. I thought this guy had swag. I thought this guy had the juice. I thought this guy had the drip. So how do you leave those lovely ladies almost a meter behind him? Questions that we won't get too much into for now, but nonetheless, let's just continue.
Okay, there we go. So, how the f you allow my... You said, no, I'm letting up 6. Pull up with hammers and sticks. Better my brother, I'm taking...
All right, yeah, okay, so first of all, now let's talk about the lady to the right. Now the lady in the middle, yeah, she has a Gango thing going on, and yeah, but the lady to the right, she seems like she's rocking and she knows the lyrics, at least enough to dance and all that kind of stuff. But look at both of them, especially the one to the right. Even the one in the center, left-ish direction. These, if you just look at the curves, now, a lot of brothers especially would be like, damn, that curve, she did though, she did. And even in my case, I would consider this, at least when it comes to the standards I'm used to, American standards, normal. All right, you may want to not touch anything else, but it's passable. However, in Japan and East Asia, these women, other than their love for urban culture and certain foreigners, these women would be disqualified immediately because of said curves, because of their weight. Believe it or not, well, you probably do, because we all know how a lot of Japanese people look like, and they're pretty thin, especially the women. Even the men, but especially the women. And there is a huge standard to maintain that standard of beauty, that thin standard of beauty, among Japanese social media, mainstream media, families, friends, schools, even. Yes. And there is to a point where if you are above a certain BMI in Japan, you have to pay an additional tax for being overweight. So society as a whole enforces a standard, which I'm sure when it comes to being overweight, I'm sure these two aren't at that level, at least not yet, at least not right now, at least not until they, or God forbid, they get knocked up by a knucklehead or a baby kid and become, which, speaking of which, I know somebody said that there is a population problem in Japan. and not enough kids. That is true for various reasons we won't get into today. But Pookies will fix that right up. I bet they will. I bet they would. I really would. I wouldn't doubt that from them. Along with the inevitable decline and collapse of said civilization. I'd rather be at the baseball game than the club. I've watched Japan's baseball games online. It's much better than the Pookie nonsense. Hey, you look, shout out to NPB, Nippon Professional Baseball. And to be honest, if I were to compare Nippon MPB to the MLB, MLB is to like the NFL environment, whereas MPB is the college football. It is literally a fun event. If you are a baseball fan, if you go to Japan, you need to catch an NPB game. And there are no excuses. There is an NPB game or NPB team in every major city there is. So unless you're in the sticks, then go check it out. Or unless you go there during the off season. So shout out to NPB. And actually a lot of the professionals that we hear about, particularly the Japanese professionals, including Shohei Ohtani, who is the baseball player for the Anaheim Angels, he played in NPB, and I think he won a championship in NPB. I think it was the Hokkaido team that he won a championship with a few years back. So shout out to him, shout out to all of the greats. And that's Japanese Keisha, exactly. Watch out for Japanese Keishas or Keishas of any other race. So again, being loud at night, yep, live out negative stereotypes. Meanwhile, Americans lean towards taxing us for let's not go there. Let's not go there. And black men will destroy generational legacies in Japan. You know what? Black men like this will destroy generational legacies in Japan, and the parents aren't having it. And this is part of the reason why, yes, while there's a population decline in Japan, black men will not be asked in order to serve it. You'll more likely have freaking runaways from Russia and Ukraine, the soldiers who basically, there's a term for it, but there's basically AWOL. They go AWOL and just abdicate their responsibilities, vacate being a soldier. They will more likely get asylum in Japan for the sole purpose of repopulating the population. And this is the problem, real problem I have, is that in the 60s, and yeah, this may touch on respectability politics, but in the 60s, whether you were part of the civil rights movement or the Black Power movement, whatever, we had a lot of a better image. And if we were to have kept that image, either one, we probably would not have as many people resisting their daughters to date black men. But no one wants to listen to that. We want most black men want to hold on to their swag and their whatever, their hood swag, like the good old boys want to cling onto Bud Light, at least until a month ago.
And I risk like can't get nowhere with the knockers. You play with your block or move on, need 2 shots in your chest up.
Oh my goodness. Such cringe.
You got about AJ, we gon' get that boy a hand on this wrist. You a bitch. Let's be real, you was never on 45, fake ass content, you could suck my I ain't gonna lie, Fetty, you block me. You a bitch. I ain't gonna lie, Jake, you ratted.
They're even censoring every other word that they're saying. They know that they're on some Pookie stuff. They know they're on the nonsense. They know they're on the juice. I don't know what kind of juice. I don't care what kind of juice. But they're on the juice.
Snitch. It's like, hey, I got a new hater. Suck on my you trying to act harder than that. Damn. Let's go. Oh, Lawson right here, though, gang. We out to Lawson. Or Family Mart. Nah, Lawson. I ain't gonna lie. I've been trying to go to Lawson, gang. Family is too family friendly. Like, I'm not Nick 830. Nick 830, bro. Like, what the fuck?
All right, remember what I said about... Wow, this is bright. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's just that camera, buddy.
Oh my God. Like, bus, like late night. Late night before the flight. Tata, we at the deli.
Whoa. Pause this. Once again, Pookie Ray Dar. Pookie Ray Dar.
What the wait, hold on, what?
Yep. Talking to you on air, Pookie Ray. Okay. Pookie Ray Dar is at it again. And also, I will give credit to Japan on having convenience stores open 24/7. That is one of the best things about the country. Top 10 things that every non-Japanese person will say about Japan is that you can buy anything 24/7, especially in places like Lawson, Family Mart, and 7-Eleven. And the food that they have isn't all junk food. Yeah, they got, and oh, well, they do have alcohol too. So for all of you who are late night drinkers, they do sell alcohol 24 hours a day. And you can drink on the street, technically. So, but also they have decent food, edible food that is at least somewhat healthy. So a lot of people who are partying, they'll always end up at a Family Mart, Lawson, 7-Eleven. So I can't even blame him for making this move. But the Pookie Ray Dar stuff.
My friend want to say hi.
Hi.
Go. Hi. Hi. Arigato. 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 Whatever y'all say, I can't get. You wanna know why? Because I've drank this before, and this is a movie. Screenshot, just in case you ever go to Tokyo, get this movie. Hold on, Steven. Where Pookie at? Chat, where Pookie at? You want anything? You want anything? So y'all want? Let me show y'all good and everything on me. You know what I'm saying? So y'all want? Let me show y'all good and
Okay, okay, looking at the lady here. This, I just wanted to pause it. I just wanted to pause it.
everything on
Yeah, I just wanted to pause it. Just for visual sake. I mean, a lot of communication is subconscious. So, I don't know. Maybe he did get lucky that night.
on me. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Yup. He even knew he messed up. The chat knew he messed up. Because, as you can see, if he's trying to be that man in town, he should have got some rubbers. And you can all take a guess if one, he smashed, and two, if he used rubbers.
But I got that game, the US version. I don't believe it.
Going back.
Why can't
we
be friends?
Okay.
I'm saying, like, I'll probably hit you when I get to my toe. Yeah, like in 30 minutes. You come? Alright, say,
Alright, so this is basically the end of the video, honestly. There's not much to hear, not much to see. I'm just going to pause it right here, and I'm just going to get into my own little rant. Hopefully, let's just see. There we go. Yeah. Alright, that's perfect image. That's the perfect place I'm going to pause right here. Now, for all of you who are wondering about my experience in Japan, I'm just going to summarize this and say that, one, it was sort of bastardized because of being there during COVID. So, yeah, I didn't have the best experience, mainly due to circumstances beyond anyone's control. And number two, living where I did, in the part of Japan that I did, I'll just say this. There are more foreigners there than anywhere else. Obviously, in the Kanto region, you have Tokyo, Yokohama, what is it? A lot of bases nearby. Saitama, Chiba, like that's like the big region where the big four, as they call it, in the Kanto region. And I live, let's just say, within the big four, within one of the big cities. In my time there, as I said, Japanese are polite, they're respectful, and they expect you to do the same. And overall, I did just that. I was on my best behavior, I was a good boy, I followed the rules, and because of that, I didn't receive really a lot of hostile treatment at all. No overt racial stuff. I mean, the worst thing I probably had were a bunch of drunken guys bumped into me 2 times in a week in the station. But other than that, nothing hostile. I mean, yeah, did you have plenty of microaggressions? Of course. That's what foreigners are going to face. The worst microaggression I had was when I would have a seat on a train. The 2 seats next to me would not be occupied until all of the other seats were. And then you would have someone sit next to me, okay? And I would say that was the worst I faced in the Kanto region, working there. Now, due to other stuff that I won't get into, I have since moved to another country, which I will try to sit my mouth about until people try to, well, they're going to figure it out. I'm a very private person. I'm just going to say I'm no longer in that part of the world. And there is a part of me that misses living in Japan, but specifically not in Tokyo, not in this region. And the reason why is because of stuff like this. In Tokyo, you have a lot of foreigners who don't know how to act, quite frankly. And it includes a lot of these bebes kids who find themselves there for due to one reason or another. It's usually because of 2 reasons. 1, usually they take a teaching job. And 2, it's usually because of the military. And this is not to crap on those who serve in the military. A lot of them are honorable people. I will say that they do need better training when it comes to handling their drinks. Because that's usually when they screw up, is when they get 1 or too many drinks in. But other than that, you have these teachers who, let's just be honest, they barely got a degree in the easiest thing they could. And as a result, yeah. Let's just dick around and go to Japan right quick and just go to the biggest city and basically not leave any of the BS home. Not conforming to the culture. I'm not even talking about just learning the language. Not conforming to the culture, not reading the room, not conducting yourselves in a manner that will at least not put any shade on yourself or anyone else like you, whether it's a foreigner or a particular ethnic foreigner. And what I've noticed is that these guys, along with the Africans, they tend to take the mess that they brought with them to Japan. Which is why, in my honest opinion, that was the reason why my experience there was pretty mediocre. Not to say that there aren't good things about even the Kanto region, Tokyo, all that place, but I'll be honest, it was when I went to the Kansai region, Kyoto, Osaka, Kobe, when I started to enjoy Japan. When I stopped feeling as if I was treated like a black person being judged by the fullness of this, and I started to be judged as an American, seen as an American. And I really did appreciate that about going to the western parts of Japan. And it was even more when I went to places like Hiroshima, when I played Okayama even. Okayama is a pretty small, mid-sized town. And Fukuoka, Okinawa. Which is the thing about Okinawa. Okinawa is actually the smallest prefecture, it's the southernmost prefecture, and it's the least Japanese prefecture due to the history of Okinawa being its own country at one point. And fast forwarding to after the war, where majority of the bases were put on Okinawa basically because the Japanese felt like, oh, they're not Japanese, so just put it there. So yeah, there's a love-hate relationship between Okinawans, Japanese people there, and the Americans. And honestly, it feels more like America. So you have the best and people who love America and Americans that are there. And then you also have people who can't stand us, partially because a lot of putting the soldiers sort of act like this when they go there. And we won't get into the case of the individual. Oh, we will do a News at Night case about the said individual who escaped the border. A brother, it had to be a brother, who ran to the North Korean border because he thought that being held up by North Koreans is better than going to Fort Leavenworth. We'll get that to the future News at Night. But in the meantime, I feel the reason why my treatment was much better when I went down to other parts, other than the other parts of Japan, the Western Japan, other than the usual part of there are less people, it's less stressful, less stuck up people, is partially because of less people like this being in those parts of Japan. And before I go, just a lesson to all guys who really want to do the passport thing right. Not typical passport bro stuff. Yo, whippity whoop. We're going to name a city. We're going to Rio. Hey. Oh, we're going to Sosua, especially Sosua. Sosua is done, and it's been ruined by baby's kids. This is what happened. This is the reason why I do channels and videos like this. It's to prevent places becoming the next Sosua. We're going to Medellin, yeah, know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, we're going to Pattaya, yeah. Passport bros, we just passport bros, we just schmoes. And you are schmoes, all right? Yeah, you're schmoes. You're schmoes, and not good kind of schmoes neither. Don't get me started. Don't make me cook. Because anyway, I bet they're in the. Well, he's not in the military. This guy's not in the military. But is she? You know what? Is she actually Japanese? She looks mixed. That's a good question. I did explain about the culture or the subculture where you have a lot of Japanese women who will cake themselves and darken themselves up to attract certain men. So there's a 50% chance that she's a Genguro, or there's a 50% chance she's mixed. And on a side note, a lot of mixed Japanese people, even this very day, are somewhat seen as outcasts to the point where they usually end up associating with foreigners. Japan, as technologically advanced as it is, as safe as it is, and as forward thinking as they are when it comes to just efficiency, well, not all efficiency, but let's just say on the surface they are technologically advanced, but they are just as socially behind when it comes to dealing with non-Japanese people. So, and that's the thing you got to consider. If you're going to have a half Japanese kid in Japan, you got to take all these things into consideration. But yeah, let's see what the comments say before we head out of here. This would get old to these chicks after a year, and they act like they never knew this class. Yeah, probably. Right, especially around that time they get to their late 20s. Now they say mid 20s is the age where you become a Christmas cake or Christmas cakey. And what a Christmas cake is essentially a woman who's past her prime, to the point where not a lot of men will consider her as wife material. Now, in America, and even places like Tokyo, it's a bit more lenient than that when it comes to the Christmas cake age. Maybe it's 30 instead of 25. But with a lot of foreigners, it doesn't matter. Hey, we're going to capture them all. We're going to save them all, right? Okay, passport bros. He needs Prozac and Ritalin, exactly. Oh, he needs Prozac and Ritalin, exactly. Japan and Russia are not in the best of terms right now. There's a dispute over part of the Kuril out. There's always been a dispute, but I find that there are plenty of Russians who find their way to Japan. And Pro-Wax and Pookie's #1 defender. Yeah, exactly. Ichiro Suzuki played for the Oryx Blue Wave. Wow, the Oryx Blue Wave before playing in America for Seattle Mariners. Thank you, Joe Scholar. Yep. So let's just get to the Martial arts in Japan. Okay, so I see all of you are chopping it up. Shout out to you guys. Bad behavior by some Americans has happened in South Korea too. Yeah, Travis King, I think that was the guy who might have been the guy who tried to cross the Korean border. We'll do a story on him in News Tonight. We're going to the court. Hey, yeah, she could be Polynesian. Yeah, she could be Polynesian. That's true. And American Christmas cakes put on a ton of makeup and call themselves, yeah, that's true. And apparently it works. But in any case, I want to thank you all for joining me on this Friday night, so I'm not going to keep you all here forever. I just want to do this video, this reaction style video about what not to do when you're overseas, especially in a place like Japan. And where not to go. And who not to play patty cake with. At least, and if you do, at least get some rubber. Something like this guy. Lawson's, Family Mart, 7-Eleven, they're open 24 hours a day. And they have rubbers, by the way. They may or may not fit you. But it's still better off than going in raw dog. Especially into women like this. Which, by the way, they're very infamous for wanting to take your child away. Shout out to all of you who joined. Shout out to, salute to sysbm. Salute to the few passport bros who are doing things right. Salute to just gentlemen or dudes with a passport. That's all you need. Shout out to Marty McFly. Go out, check out his channel. And everyone else out there, always bet on X.